Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Katie Couric spills new details about her relationship with Matt Lauer and reveals why she wrote her bombshell book. Surveillance video shows a possible Brian Laundrie sighting, the clues that could lead investigators one step closer to finding him. The author of Sex and the City calls out the show for not being feminist, why she doesn't approve of the show's message. And another airplane Karen, her embarrassing tirade caught on camera.
The reason the pandemic started is because nobody here has anyone's face.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No. Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll. What's happening over there? Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, October 19th. I'm touring. I'm in for Sam today, and I'm here with my good friends, Al, Jeff, and Erica, all looking sharp, ready to go. Katie Couric was back on the Today Show, and she goes all in talking about Matt Lauer and discovering his alleged sexual harassment of women while working at the show. So let's watch the clip. We'll talk about it on the flip side.
It was really devastating, but also disgusting. And, you know, I think what I realized is there was a side of Matt I never really knew. And I tried to understand why he behaved the way he did and why he was so reckless and callous and honestly abusive to other women.
So Katie went on to say that she does not have a relationship with Matt anymore. I have a certain feeling about this book tour that it's not going well. I find this really disastrous. If Matt was so reckless, why did she not know? If she had rumors, why didn't she ask? So I think this leaves her up for a lot of shooting arrows at her, and I think it's not going well. Am I wrong? Does someone disagree with me?
Well, what would have been better had she taken it to the grave and not said anything? Really? Because a lot of people, women have come forward and men have come forward to say that this is what happened to them, and we needed a credible source, is what we were talking about earlier. Early in this in 2017, like, why hasn't anyone who we have had all this faith in come forward to corroborate this story? And now she's doing that. So it's kind of like she's damned if she did, if she's damned if she didn't. And
also, Eric, I think when we approach this, we can just make a mistake right from the beginning if we're approaching it with 2021 eyes in terms of, like, we live in a world with HR. Erica? We live in a world where you can report things that are wrong.
I hear that.
When she was dealing with Matt Lauer, he was one of the most famous people on the planet. She knew that if she crossed him in any way, either her career will take a dip where she'll be covering, you know, some Easter Bunny festival, or she'll just be gone. And when we start talking about, like, what she should have done retroactively, we're looking at it, luckily, with the privilege that we have, that if something bad happens, we have recourse.
Al, right? She is Katie Couric.
Compared to Matt Lauer in that day and age.
I know, but if you
Me Too just happened.
I understand, and I hear what you're saying. I don't want to look at it like Monday night quarterback, something
Monday
with
morning.
Armchair. Okay, I think
you nailed it.
Okay, thanks. I'm just simply saying, does this look good for Katie Couric, whose reputation was of the girl next door, and kind of, why now? Why do it?
And that's a good question. I think a lot of people are asking. Do you think it's ironic, Erica, that the book came out the same time as the morning show?
No,
that's kind of talking about this.
Jeff, I'm glad you asked me, because that's a part of
conspiracy theories based on nothing but my opinion alone. I'm sorry, there is no way that you can tell me that there isn't a correlation between Katie Couric's story coming out right now and also the way that morning show season 2 has been dropping. Now, when Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon were initially on the show at the beginning of this, I asked them, I'm like, all of this is too on the nose, so who's your source? Because clearly it's somebody who was either there at the Today Show or maybe even at another network where they have some pretty inside information on exactly how this went down. I am telling you, week by week, every time we bring up this Katie Couric story, I watch the morning show on Friday night, and it's the same thing, just a different version and like more cinematography.
How meta is
So
that?
I'm sorry. This is my personal Reddit thread. This is what's happening.
I mean, it makes sense.
It makes perfect
It makes
sense.
sense. Can we get a graphic for Cobb's conspiracy theory? Maybe a lightning sound, like boom.
Pull up that Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon interview too, because I'm curious.
Let's go back.
I think they told us, and we just didn't even know.
All right.
The graphic for your wonderful quotes.
Yes.
Thanks, Jeff.
Monday arm quarterback night.
Killed it. It's that time again where we share another viral video of people misbehaving on planes. This time, a woman brought, her own microphone and went on about COVID, but it didn't end so well for her. Watch.
I brought my microphone. I'm going to use it. This is perfect. Thank you. We're set up great. I'm completely harmless. Also, I think you're all enjoying this because, like I said, I'm not terrible to look at. Yeah. The reason the pandemic started is because nobody here has anyone paid because you're all stuck to your stupid devices. My dog has better sense than any of you.
You called it that Bob Barker mic.
Yeah, I just I can't believe that she's able to just walk up and down the aisle. We have seen because this is funny, this is silly, but we've seen two. That's where I'm going though.
Yeah.
We've seen two incidences in the last month where people have actively gone after the door while the flight was in motion. How many more of these goofy things are we going to see before we're covering something where 250 passengers have been killed by a nutcase like this? It's funny till it's not funny, and until we treat this like you just tried to kill 250 people, we're going to keep giggling until you get a phone call or I get a phone call.
And someone rushes the cockpit. I say, I agree completely with Al. Why are we not banning for all airlines, FAA, you ain't allowed to fly. If you're going to act like that with a Bob Barker microphone, you don't have the luxury of traveling.
I'm with you. I'm all for that because then listen, people need to be incentivized and people need to be punished, right? No matter what that may be. That's how we go around with these kitten gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, all right. I didn't want to get the quote wrong because I just made fun of you for misquoting. I was like,
No,
oh man, really get it right. But anyways, get off that. When you go to the airport or you get on an airplane, you see how crazy people are. You see what America really is. And we're like, get that woman off the plane because she's insane. But when someone writes in on social media, they're like, that person's got a point. That's the person writing in on social media. And people are changing their jobs and the way they do things and running networks and major corporations because of that insane person. They're writing to the company and people are like, guess we got to fire that guy.
Erica,
that's insane person.
I want to throw this at you guys because I just had a thought as you were talking, Jeff. Erica, you worked at nightlife forever, nightclubs, things like that. You worked at a stadium. You know, so we're talking about people that are drunk all the time. You're surrounded by 18,000 drunk people all the time. Why don't every game we have drunk people running on the court? Why don't we have drunk people running up to VIP? Hey, there's a rapper up there they like. All these people that are on drugs, they're drunk. Why aren't they doing that? Because people know there's going to be some consequences. No matter if you had 18 shots, you know if you go to that VIP, you're going to have to see that gigantic bouncer. No matter how drunk you are. And the fact is, people know that there's no repercussions, and it'll just be you walking around with a Bob Barker mic in coach, and no one will do anything.
Right.
A lot of you
we
guys,
need those bouncers.
A lot of you, Jen, ban these airplane obnoxious troublemakers. Donnie F., all I have to say is 3 words, no fly list.
Well, because at the end of the day, you're also only thinking about yourself.
Right.
You talked about the 250 other people that are on that plane. These are people who have connections. They may be flying because of bereavement.
Right.
Like this might have been the last money that they had in order to get somewhere that they absolutely need to go, whether they want to be there or not. And now you're going to take it upon yourself to monopolize everyone else's time. Like at that point, it's Fight Club.
Yeah.
You know, like Al's right. Why are we handling people so delicately? Like, if you know, knuck if you buck.
I have to ask the FAA, the airplane riders' rights is very little, and people have been asking Congress to write for airplane riders to have more rights because you're kind of trapped up in the air at some point. I feel like there's a limit now to how long you can stay on a runway, right? For how long you have to get off. At some point, I feel like we don't have rights and we're being held hostage by these nutcases.
Erica really hit me in the head with that. I didn't think about like how many times that people might miss their connection because you might have 30 minutes to get through a concourse, and for somebody to go and just parade, because that woman wasn't having like a real mental health she was coherent, she was trying to be funny, making little
premeditated.
And so like with that,
she brought the mic.
I'm just saying, I can't advocate for anything, but I'm just.
We live in a
the
society
people need
where
to take
people
back
act
what's
crazy,
going on.
and then they do something, and then someone has a reaction to them acting crazy, and they're like, "I'm suing."
They're gonna sue
and
you.
that's it. I'll sue you, and
It's
then nobody wants to
frustrating.
get involved, and we just let this behavior. It's like watching my kids.
Yeah.
That's
It's
what it's
called
like.
boundaries.
It is. It's like
called-
watching my kids,
Right.
and they're gigantic babies walking around.
I love it. Coming up on DBL, reported sightings of Brian Laundrie are on the rise. Surveillance footage, and get this, a lookalike was ambushed. Wait till you see this?
Looks like
on the trail.
He's better looking.
No, he's not. But our investigators actually close to finding him. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. And Angelina Jolie attends the Eternals premiere with her kids. You won't believe where their outfits came from. Stay with us. But first, the FDA is set to approve mixing and matching vaccines. So Dr. Coley, she's here live to break down all the facts.
Closed captioning provided by
Someone wrote in that we insulted Bob Barker's microphone. And I do want to apologize because it's funny, but how funny she had to purchase it. She had to get it tested. You know what I mean? That's so embarrassing. But a lot of you were saying, I really can't believe they should ban. These women bringing up crap from 10, 20, 30 years ago. I'll never condone or tolerate it. Anyone misbehaving, but come on, knock them dizzy at the time. That's Jen talking, of course, about Katie Couric. And I guess my question to you guys is it going well? Is it good for her book? Will she get more money? Or is it bad for her reputation and karma? And even if it's cathartic to her, does it sort of sully Katie Couric for you? I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out myself. And I get a bad vibe, and maybe I'm wrong. But I maybe if I were Katie Couric, I wouldn't have said anything. And if I hadn't said anything then, I wouldn't have spoken up now. But maybe this is good for her, and I'm wrong. So I'd love to hear back from the audience as well. By the way, someone wrote in, get a breathalyzer at the gate. I don't hate that. I also don't hate more security in the airplane, like air marshals. You know what Al was saying, why don't they go up to the bouncers? Because there's security there. So I don't know what you guys think. Let me know. Talk to me. And is it Monday Night Armchair? We'll talk. Yeah.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah. Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, never mind. I had a funny joke. I thought you.
A day of DBL.
I am here to receive that gift.
Bold debates.
Come on now.
Enough.
Get real.
It blows my mind.
Hot celebs.
Happy 5th anniversary.
Love a suit, by the way.
Thank you.
Seriously, Al, give her a break. That just sounded weird, actually.
And all the laughs.
Yes, Erica, feeling it.
Okay, I'm done with you. I'm done. DBL is always all new every day.
Welcome back to DBL. So today we're remembering General Colin Powell, the first Black U.S. Secretary of State. And many of you were surprised that he died from COVID-19 complications, even though he was fully vaccinated. So we brought Dr. Coley here to break down that, along with some other COVID news. Thank you for being here, Doc. We appreciate that. Are there other factors to General Colin Powell's death that you think contributed that people aren't aware of? And talk to us about that.
You know, in his case, there are so many other factors that are the explanation, not the fact that the vaccine didn't work, but that he was 84 years old. And we know that people over the age of 65, their immune responses to the vaccine just not as strong. He was more than 6 months out from his 2 doses, which we know is around the time period the antibodies start to go down. And most importantly, he had multiple myeloma, which is a cancer that doesn't just turn off your immune system, it actually prevents your immune system from making a normal response to the vaccines.
Wow.
So if anything, I think Colin Powell's infection actually demonstrates that we all need to get vaccinated, because there are people out there like that can get vaccinated and still get sick.
Well said. Interesting. It's Al. I guess I'll go.
Well, okay. Well, now people are questioning how well the vaccines work, and why are some fully vaccinated people still dying from COVID?
So, no vaccine's 100%. We think about meningitis. We've all gotten vaccinated, right? But there's still cases of meningitis, and that doesn't mean because some person gets it that the vaccine didn't work at all. So I think we have to get that out of our head that it's 100%. But I think Colin Powell's case really demonstrates that it's so many factors, our age, our immune response, which society we live in, because the amount of infection in the community really, influences how the vaccine performs, and what sort of mitigation measures we're following. Are we wearing our masks? Have you
gotten the booster?
Exactly.
Like
All of so many different factors that influence the way that the vaccine performs, that it's not the vaccine failing, it's all the things that happen after you get vaccinated.
It's so important to know. All right, many people are, speaking about the booster, are anxious to get their booster shots. And now I hear the FDA may allow us to mix and match which booster do you get. So what do you know about that?
I think it's a great idea. I wish it had come a little sooner. And I think it's really coming from the fact that the science is supporting mixing and matching. It's safe, it's effective. And the real point of this, you guys, is to remove as many barriers as we can to getting people vaccinated. It doesn't matter which vaccine, just get that vaccine in your arm, get that second dose, because it's going to augment the response to Delta. And I really feel, I hope that this influences more people to go out and get any shot that they can get.
So if you're Johnson & Johnson, can you go, you say go get the Moderna or Pfizer vaccine booster? They're saying that's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting for Johnson & Johnson. They're actually saying that may even be better.
Okay.
Yeah, but not the opposite. So
Right.
if you got a messenger RNA, that doesn't mean you should switch over to the Johnson & Johnson. We don't have great data on that. It means you should probably stay in that family. But as Eric always likes to say, the vaccine gangs. Yeah. And you can switch gangs. You could never do that in LA, but you can do that here.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, I want to go back to factors for a little bit because I like that you mentioned that, right? And let me use this as an example, as a jumping off point. So some people, including conservative radio host Dennis Prager, are saying getting COVID and gaining natural immunity is better than getting the vaccine itself. So he actually purposely got himself infected by hugging strangers. I do want to talk about factors, not necessarily about this man, okay? So if you are vaccinated, right, and you have a certain amount of immunity, and you also, on the other side, like my wife is both vaccinated and had COVID, but we both have immunity, why aren't more people testing for immunity? So when my immunity goes down because I got the Pfizer, right, which is kind of on the lower end, so it tells me when I need to get my next shot or my booster shot.
Yes, so great question. Lots of
There's a lot
stuff
in there,
to
I know,
unpack.
sorry.
Yeah. So let me start with the question that you asked, which is that why don't we look at antibodies to decide when we should get boosters? So in a way, we sort of can't really look at antibodies because antibodies will go down. But the factory that makes the antibodies, those memory B cells, are living inside your immune system. So just checking the antibodies may give us the wrong answer. What we really want to look at is infections, breakthrough infections, which we're seeing going up. It used to be very unheard of, but now it's happening more. And that's what tells us that maybe the protection from the vaccine is going down. Now, the other point you brought up, Jeff, is natural infection and vaccination. The order matters here, you guys. So if you get the natural infection and then get vaccinated, you may have lifelong protection, according to some scientists.
Whoa.
But the opposite, which means if you got vaccinated and then got natural infection, that's not quite the same. That's a breakthrough case. That actually means that you may even be more susceptible because despite getting the vaccine, you still got infected. So you certainly need to go and get a booster in that case.
Very good information. I think more people need to talk about that because it's all about this or that or get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's what
and I want to know more about antibodies and testing and all of that. Great point.
And I want Jordan to get her booster when she's 2 months out.
And that's why I ask. I also use it for personal information.
We just love it. Thanks, Dr. Coley. Thank you so much. DBL Nation, if you have a question you want answered by Dr. Coley, write us on social media. You can also email info@dailyblastlive.com. We'll be right back.
Following the passing of General Colin Powell, we've seen a lot of rumors spreading on social media, so we want to stick to the facts. His family wrote on Facebook that he died due to complications from COVID-19 and that he was fully vaccinated. For that reason, some online are using this as an opportunity to cast doubt on vaccine effectiveness. So let's verify by looking at the data. Our main source is the CDC, which has loads of data on hospitalizations and deaths. We also got some added context from Dr. William Schaffner from Vanderbilt University. According to the CDC, as of October 12th, more than 7,000 people died died and just under 25,000 went to the hospital with COVID after being fully vaccinated. And obviously that sounds pretty scary, but we have to consider that this is a very small percentage of people that got the shot. The CDC says over 189 million people have been fully vaccinated nationwide, meaning that the chances of being hospitalized with COVID after getting the shot is 0.01%, and the chance of death is 0.004%. That's like 1 out of 10,000 vaccinated people going to the hospital and 4 out of 100,000 dying, meaning it's not just rare, it's very rare. As for those who are unvaccinated, the rates of hospitalization and death are far greater.
Well over 90% of people who are hospitalized today with serious COVID are the unvaccinated among us. Over 90%.
Take this graph from the CDC showing a snapshot of COVID death rates from 16 jurisdictions over a 4-month period. In August alone, they estimate that an unvaccinated person was 11.3 times more likely to die from COVID. Simply put, some breakthrough cases are inevitable, but it's a far lower rate than if you aren't vaccinated. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. For weeks, one of the most wanted men in America has been Brian Laundrie, who's been named a person of interest in the death of Gabby Petito. We'll check out the latest possible sighting in Florida. TMZ has the video. So the video was shot by a surveillance camera and shows a person on a bike with a very large backpack. The video is from a town about 3 hours north of Brian's parents' home. Meantime, a man who looks like Brian Laundrie was stopped at gunpoint on the Appalachian Trail. U.S. Marshals pulled their guns on this man while he was napping. He was handcuffed, but was later cleared because he didn't have Laundrie's tattoos and, of course, had an ID that ruled him out. In case you're wondering, here's a side-by-side of Laundrie and the look-alike. I mean,
it just looks like we're grasping for straws.
Where is
which
he?
is kind of what happens when you boggle and just completely embarrass yourself at the beginning of this investigation. They didn't have eyes on his parents' house. They still, I don't think, have him are going after him for murder. They're trying to get him for
personal
credit fraud or some kind of weird stuff. And this was so strangely handled. Dog the bounty hunter's now in the mix, Erica. People, it's a circus, and circus-like things are happening. So, I know Americans love their law and order and like to think that that's what's happening, like great legal justice and, good investigation, but it's this. It's just people just with footage of somebody on a bike. We have nothing.
What do you think, Erica? Okay.
I mean, I think
it's disappointing.
No, I just think that man's lucky that he was white.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's no way. Jeff, you made a face. What do you think about this?
Listen, I'm with you guys. It's a circus, man. I wasn't on board from the very beginning, right? And because we see, first of all, was that video sped up? I don't even.
It was ridiculous.
What was he doing riding the bike like that? And how do you take that equates to Brian Laundrie? I don't understand. I think people are very hungry to find this person so they could be the one who finds them, and they really don't even care about the family. They don't care about what happened to them or that girl. They're like, I want to be the one who finds Brian Laundrie so I could be on the news. That's where I'm at.
I don't even understand how this has been able to, because every time you watch a movie and the FBI shows up and the local police are like, oh, the feds are here, tell them we got this. But yet, Dog the bounty hunter's there, Twitter, internet sleuths are looking around. I'm like, I'm surprised they didn't just clear this whole thing and be like, we're not talking to anybody, we're not doing any of this.
I think they've been talking too much. Feds and U.S. Marshals look ridiculous in this, and I say that with respect to law enforcement. This looks like a circus and a Keystone Cop
operation. They also have to come after it a certain way because he didn't talk, which gives him a better case
Which they bungled in the first place, in my opinion, by not having surveillance on the home. Yeah. There's a lot of problems here, and I would love to hear what you guys think. Please go to YouTube, DBL, or our DBL app as well. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
That
That sound means it is time to verify. Another day, another scheme, and the bad guys are getting savvier with their tactics. They're already trying to steal your money, and now they're trying to intercept the money you're sending to friends and family. You've probably heard of Cash App. It's one of several money-sharing apps allowing you to bypass the bank and directly repay someone for a debt. So Joanne asked me to verify people on Facebook telling you to send money and receive more. She saw her friend sharing a post that reads in part, Cash App is presently giving out money to help people by this period of pandemic. To benefit, you have to trade with them using gift card or make Cash App transfer for trading and get your winnings immediately after verification, end quote. And then explains if you get $100 worth of gift cards, you'll get $1,500 in return and so forth. Okay, well, right away we noticed the missing words and the other grammatical errors, some of which I've circled here. This post immediately gives off red flags, which is why Joanne brought it to my attention. So let's verify. Our sources for this are Cash App, the Federal Trade Commission, and Lachelle Yates with the Better Business Bureau of Central and Northwest North Carolina. They affirm that so-called Cash App promotion is fake.
This social media post invokes two golden rules. First, if you are being asked to pay money up front for any reason in order to collect your money, the person asking is a crook. And second, gift cards are not currency. Gift cards are meant to be given as gifts, period.
Plus, why would Cash App want your gift cards? The Federal Trade Commission says very clearly no real business or government agency will ever insist you pay them with a gift card. And the Real Cash App has a whole scam warning page on its website. It mentions cash flipping schemes when scammers promise to increase your money if you send them funds first. The scammers sometimes claim, as they did in this case, they need the payment up front for a verification or clearance fee. So bottom line, pausing to think and question can save you a huge headache.
First, realize that Cash App is not like a bank account. Your money is not federally insured. Second, use these apps like they were intended. Peer-to-peer, sending money to people that you know. And third, if you end up sending money to a scammer, you're not likely to get your money back. These money sending apps, they're not going to shoulder the cost of fraud like credit card companies do.
In conclusion, we verify no, the post claiming Cash App will pay you 10 times the money on a gift card is fake. Thanks, Joanne, for sending the post to us instead of resharing it online. And watch how much you send on payment apps, even to trusted sources. Starting January 2022, a new IRS rule will require you to report any Cash App business transactions of more than $600 to the federal government. With your Verify, I'm Megan Malaris.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online. Watch on YouTube, dailyblastlive.com, or on our DBL app. Stop it, Jeffrey. But if you're sticking around, here's what's coming up. Does Sex and the City lack feminism? Why the show creator thinks it can do better. And while some stars dazzle the judges on Dancing with the Stars, others flopped. We're talking about the shocking elimination. Stay tuned.
Once again, time to move your clocks back an hour to stop observing daylight saving time. The return to standard time always prompts a lot of viewer questions, wondering why we partake in this annual tradition and whether the states will actually stop. So let's verify. Can states opt out of daylight saving time? Our sources are the National Conference of State Legislatures, the U.S. Energy Department, and the Uniform Time Act of 1966. Daylight saving time was started during World War I to conserve fuel that generates electricity. Congress abolished it when the war ended in 1919, but it remained in some parts of the country. Another law was put in place requiring DST nationwide during World War II and ended soon after. Finally, in 1966, Congress passed the Uniform Time Act that gave us the system we have today. And it gave the states the option to stay on standard time. Arizona, Hawaii, and all U.S. territories ditched daylight saving time, as did Michigan for just a few years and most of Indiana until 2006. But no other state has opted out since the law was passed. So it's true, states can opt out of daylight saving time. So why do we keep changing the clocks? Well, it turns out daylight saving time is more popular. In the last 4 years, 19 states have either enacted legislation or passed resolutions to stay sprung forward all year long. The catch is, federal law only allows states to remain on standard time, not daylight saving time. For that, they need congressional approval. And so far, Congress has just lengthened DST from 6 months to 8 months, but stopped short of allowing states to keep the sun shining later all year long. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane?
This is a sham.
No. No.
Y'all, just
It's
stop.
finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. I'm Tori in for Sam. I'm here with Al, Eric, and Jeff. We're so grateful you're watching with us. We got some red carpet news. Angelina Jolie stepped out for the Eternals, which I want to see, with her kids. Angelina showed up with 5 of her 6 kids for the event. Only her 17-year-old son, Pax, wasn't there. She told ET that her kids opted to wear vintaged or upcycled outfits, including Zahara, who wore her mom's Oscar dress from 2014. Angelina also wore this gold chin cuff that some say was a nod to her character, Thena, the leader of the Eternals.
Why are you talking like you're in the Eternals?
Sorry.
Yeah, you're talking very strangely.
I was thinking, could I rock a chin cuff?
No.
Okay.
No.
The answer is a hard pass from Erica. I appreciate that. All right, what do we think? What do we think is interesting? I think something also interesting that people are pointing out is Shiloh. This is the first time we've seen her photographed on the red carpet wearing a dress. She usually prefers wearing a suit, so she's there in the beige on the right.
Could we go back to upcycle?
Yes.
The exact terminology of upcycle?
Yes.
An Oscar dress? Is that like a recycle? Is that like a... I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know if like a hand-me-down can be an Oscar dress. I think yeah, it should, yeah, like here are my gold earrings. They're hand-me-downs. They're
Is that why it's considered an upcycle? Because you've moved up in the world when you get Angelina Jolie's Oscar dress, regardless of if you're her child or not.
Because, and let me ask you, is the message lost with you guys? Because she's trying to say recycle, reuse, don't create new waste or whatever. But she's saying that message, but she's not really living that message. She's not like on ThreadUp. You know, she's with rich people doing rich people stuff. So like, do you think the message has been lost? Because it has on me a little bit.
That's
like,
where I was going.
Don't talk to me about recycling, please. Sorry.
I appreciate the message, but I can also see your point of view that that's like a Zahir Murad dress and it's not upcycled or whatever it is. It's not like where I go and I go like, hey, can I get this for $3? Yeah, okay, great, I got a hat.
And also, first of all, I love going to thrift stores. Who knew? I like thrift stores. They got good old school like wool jackets and stuff. I'm cool with that. Wow. But it's not an Oscar blazer.
Right.
So like, I don't like what they're doing there.
Thank you, Macklemore. So how are you feeling?
Eric, are you too good for
Let's go back to the chin cuff. Chin cuff. Yeah, you could rock a chin cuff.
I don't know.
Yes,
I was saying Tori can't do it just for safety measures because Tori is. She would swallow it. She would.
I'm hungry. I'm starving.
Tori would trip and swallow it.
It's true.
Yeah, and we'd have to tell Erica, you got to talk to the doctor. Tell her how it happened. Yeah.
That's so true. All right, let's get to this. Some fans are upset after last night's elimination on Dancing with the Stars because it all came down to Sporty Spice and Olivia Jade, who were the bottom 2, even though they both scored a 36 out of 40. As you can see, it was Grease night. It's not 19.
Sporty Spice and Olivia Jade sound like two of those like flavor, like the soaps you get at Marshall's, like right before you check out. Those weird, you know, it's always like
off the rails.
It's 99 cents.
99 cents. Olivia Jade. It was Grease night, as I said. So Mel C danced a quick
danced a quick step to You're the One They Want, and Olivia Jade danced a foxtrot to Summer Nights. But head judge Len Goodman could only save one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, take a look.
Well, I'm going to say that the couple I'd like to save is Olivia and Val.
Olivia and Val are safe.
Obviously. Now, some fans weren't having it. One tweeted, quote, "You trying to tell me that Mel C, a literal Spice Girl, had less votes than Olivia Jade?"
Yeah. Who's more relevant?
Right.
I mean, the Spice Girls were the Spice Girls a long time ago, but Olivia Jade is what people are talking about right now. I'm going to pull back the wizard curtain for a second. Whoever is more relevant is going to stay on Dancing with the Stars.
We let it all out there. Yeah, she's the one you're going to hate watch. If you get rid of her, you've gotten rid of your nugget.
But I don't look. The only reason I know this is I was talking to our wonderful producer Karen, but she was saying that these weren't like viewer-driven, bottom placements. These are people that were just basically, it was up to the judge to decide who left, and the judge made a call. He said Olivia stays, but like, why do we hire these judges? And then when they make the call, we're like, oh, they're in the bag. It's like he had to pick one.
I don't think the judge made that call. I think a producer was like, you must save Olivia Jade. I do. This is clearly a production. You have to save the one girl that's getting all the press. You don't let her go, not Mel C.
But she wouldn't have been in the bottom if they wouldn't have made it that close if they were planning on keeping her the whole time.
I think you're trying to keep the wizard curtain thing.
But why would they even let it get that close then? Why would she be in the bottom two?
Erica, thoughts?
Good comeback. Viewer votes. Viewer votes. That's what it comes down to.
Right.
And then the judge got a chance to save one.
Okay.
Right.
Well said. I don't watch it.
It's like, let me just break down how the judging works.
Hey, let me break this down now. If us four were on Dancing with the Stars, Tori would be the first to go.
Yes, of course. And then we'd bring her back and kick her off again.
Oh, man, I could dance. You watch. All right, this is an interesting story. The Sex and the City author doesn't think the TV show is very empowering for women. Candace Bushnell, told the New York Post that while a lot of women were guided by the show, she doesn't think it had a very feminist message for women. She questioned the character's obsession with dating, saying the reality is finding a guy is not always the best economic choice for women, and that men can be dangerous to women in a lot of different ways. She added that women do a lot less in life when they have to rely on a man.
Yeah.
Candace, what do you want us to do with this information?
I know.
Girl, you already wrote us in and made your whole bag. Don't ruin this for us, okay? Every time we got to talk about feminism.
Seriously.
You know, a lot of us have very different definitions as to what feminism means.
Thank you.
So if feminism means to us, like, I want to get my bag, I want to get my man, I want to get the ring, I want to be living on the Upper East Side, I want to do all the things.
Yes.
Let me have my feminism.
Agreed.
Okay? And it's all about choice. It's the freedom to do what makes us happy. And if we're going to watch your show, which you have profited on, don't come back and be like, oh, well, this isn't really the healthiest thing. Well, why'd you give that to us?
I agree.
We had to interpret that. That was art, okay?
I completely agree.
It was art. It was meant to be subjective and interpretive. So now we've interpreted, we used it for our very own narratives, and here we are. I don't want to have a conversation about feminism and Sex and the City. I just want to enjoy it.
Does anyone want to follow?
I do want to say one thing. I really appreciate you saying that because I feel like this is so emblematic of where we are in our society. We had something that we all collectively, we all look very different. We lived in very different parts of the world, but we all watched the show and was like, I can identify with something in that, or I get that, or like, I'd like to have that one day. And even like once we decide we like that, we still 30 years later have to be made to feel bad about it. Oh, what are you chasing a man? A toxic man? It's like, we like something that you made, we loved it. Why are you destroying it in front of us? It's this weird masochistic thing that we have with human beings where we can't enjoy one thing in our adult life without tearing it apart and psychoanalyzing it, and it sucks. I don't know if I can say that on TV.
Fair point.
It really stinks right now.
Fair point. And I would add that there was, and I hate to say this, but when you have an empowering group of 4 women holding an ensemble on HBO that's never been done before, that is feminist. That relationship between the women made me feel extremely comfortable to start leaning on my women, to start supporting my women friends. That's what Sex and the City did. They brought women together to watch the show, have a Cosmo, and stop being catty. You started wanting your friends, Samantha, Charlotte, whatever, to enjoy life.
But you know, I understand what you're saying. It also gave us the freedom to absolve relationships as adults. Like, it also did a full circle to be like, especially what's happening now in the plot line, it's okay to have friends who you've outgrown.
Yes, right.
It's okay to have these conversations, and it doesn't mean that this person's a villain or that person's a villain. It's just the way of the world. And you could have had 20, 30, 100 years with people, and all of a sudden, those relationships don't work for you. And that can be a very human experience.
And empowering.
So let's look at it for all that it's worth.
I agree. Jeffrey?
I was just gonna say, it sounds like my wife when she's just having a bad day. And I came home from work and I did this, and she's like, "Did you watch the kids now? Is that your sock? What's wrong with you?" And she's like, I lost this battle, so I'm not getting involved.
Yeah, she did sound a little angry. It's interesting.
It sounds like a bad breakup to me, but I don't know.
Interesting. Let us know what you think. Well, we're getting, I can't wait for the story. A first look at Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball, which I said was not going to be great because Nicole Kidman's not that funny. It's in the Amazon film Being the Ricardos. Let's take a look.
You know, I did this show so Desi and I could be together.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show.
And action.
I had no idea it was going to be a hit.
Okay, so we don't see a lot of Nicole in the preview, but here's a look at the real Lucy next to Nicole as Lucy from that famous grape stomping scene, and it blew my mind.
That's really, what do you think now?
Okay, first of all, it's a little strategic to only show us a very quick clip of that one scene that's very famous.
Yeah, they're trying to get people to see the movie. It's a strategy they're using.
Okay, at the same time, you can't have people negatively comment since we never really saw her face and we never saw her be physically active. I just worry Nicole Kidman is too icy, which I love, to be super ridiculous, which Lucille Ball was. That's the best part of Lucille Ball.
I'm going to take the opposite. I think Nicole Kidman is a fantastic actress. She'll adapt into Lucille Ball. I love time period pieces, first of all, like old Hollywood. I'm all in.
I just like the sets. I like the cars in the parking lot. I like the lamps. I like the little stuff like that.
Does anyone have, I know I like the lamps too, but does anyone have a problem with the idea that they picked a non-comedian to play Lucille Ball other than me?
Let's watch first.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does anyone feel a certain way about that at all? Because
I do think, because I've been watching, Nicole Kidman has this amazing ability, even more than a lot of actresses, to really
melt.
There's something about her where she literally becomes
she melts into
these people,
it.
right?
Yeah.
So I've been watching 9 Perfect Strangers.
Yes.
And I've been watching it mainly because of Regina Hall. I've never seen Regina Hall in this type of role. It's very, it's dramatic, it's darker than what we're used to seeing her. And she took me to all of these places, and it almost like I had to watch it over because anytime someone gets an opportunity to really shine in a way that's different, it doesn't mean that what they were doing before was the only thing they were limited to do.
True.
So I look forward to Regina Hall picking up that Emmy for season 1, episode 7, and that's all I'm saying about the ability of actors.
Whoa.
And let me just put a button on, not all scenes in this movie are going to be comedic. She's going to have to deal with the drama of being married and the drama of Hollywood.
But the heartbeat of Lucille Ball is timing, and to not pick someone who's studied timing is hard, a little bit hard for me, but I could be wrong. Would love to know what you think.
Not the first time.
Oh, wow. Coming up on DBL. Have you been using moisturizer all wrong? We're chatting with a beauty expert to bust beauty myths next.
Closed captioning provided by
So like maybe 20 to 25 people in our studio came up and just agreed with me, and they said Tori was wrong.
Because I don't want a dramatic actress playing someone who plays.
I meant to. No. No, we're still talking about Lucille Ball and like how an actress, like Erica was mentioning, could change who they are. They're not necessarily stuck in that role of who they
And
are.
I'm not trying to be Deborah Messing about it. Like, let's be honest, Deborah Messing's like, I wanted to be Lucille Ball, and she was like, I think they should have picked a comedian. I'm not saying that. I question when you have someone who doesn't have natural comedic timing, which I don't know Nicole doesn't, but she's never made me laugh once.
A studied actor or actress?
But Lucille Ball, the heart of Lucille Ball is that timing.
But
so
you
why
can learn
not?
that.
No, but why not have an innate person who has grown and studied?
And then have the dramatic stuff with Ricky be
You can't do both?
That's what I'm just saying to you. You can't do both.
may not be about that.
I just never seen
Yeah,
it.
you could do a movie about Johnny Carson's life, and it could be him in front of the camera or him behind the scenes. I would have a more serious actor to play Johnny Carson behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah.
Then Johnny Carson.
Robin Williams could go back and forth. To me, she's such, and I could eat my words, but I've never.
I see what you're saying.
I could never laugh at Nicole Kidman. I'm always in awe of her acting. What I needed was like the heartbeat and the laughter and physicality.
Has she been given, or have you been given to see her in that one?
She's
Well, I'm
in
saying
that
she's not known
movie.
for that, that's
yeah,
all.
she's in that movie with Adam Sandler. She plays a comedic role. Remember, she's like that wife or whatever. She's Dave Matthews' wife.
Just go with it.
Just go with it.
Okay.
And I got a funny tidbit, but I don't think I could share it on
Oh,
television.
great job teasing that.
No, because I just thought about it. Hey, do you remember her nickname in that?
Yeah, I do.
What is it? Say.
It's like a Durant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So I got a funny. I don't know if I can't tell it on
But
here.
can't you find a good comedic?
I can't tell it on here. I'll tell you that right now.
Don't miss a day of DBL.
I am here to receive that gift.
Bold debates.
Come on now.
Enough.
Get real.
It blows my mind.
Hot celebs.
Happy 5th anniversary.
Love a suit, by the way.
Thank you.
Seriously, Al, give her a break.
That just sounded weird, actually.
And all the laughs.
Yes, Erica, feeling it.
Okay, I'm done with it. I'm done. DBL is always all new every day. Welcome back to DBL. Is your skin ready for fall weather? Well, we're busting some beauty myths and telling you the must-have products to keep your skin healthy and young with Executive Beauty Director Faith Shui. That's today's DBL Spotlight. Please welcome to the show the Executive Beauty Director of Bustle, one of my favorite websites and spaces to go, Faith Shui. Thank you for being here. Hello, 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 hello. The weather is changing, Faith, so we thought it'd be fun to bust some fall beauty myths for all skin types, okay? So first myth, you don't need to use as much sunscreen. Is that true or is that a myth, Faith?
So that is definitely a myth. And I know it makes sense, you think, because you don't see as many sun's rays, you can get lax with your sun care routine. But the truth is UVB and UVA rays are actually not always visible to the human eye. Okay. So it can be a cloudy day and you can still be getting skin damage. And actually also on top of just being you taking care of your skin, there's over 9,500 cases of skin cancer being diagnosed in the US every single day. So do not take less sun to mean that you can go lax on your SPF routine. I actually always recommend to people, as much as you can, apply throughout the day as well.
So, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of this as well. Is there a myth that you need to use more moisturizer in the fall months? Because I'm a black man, we tend to get ashy, especially in this little weird part of our hand. So so it's a big deal.
Yes, this is a myth too, because people think, oh, the weather's getting colder, let me just glop on the thickest moisturizer that I can. But the thing is, when you do that, you actually can lead to clogged pores. You can get those little dots on your face. They're called milia. And so whenever it comes to skincare, I always tell people go slow. And just because the temperatures are dipping doesn't mean that all of a sudden you need a very thick moisturizer. And here's something that people don't know as well. Moisturizer is actually not meant to fully hydrate your skin. It's really meant to seal in moisturizer. Ooh. So if your skin is feeling dry, I always recommend a hydrating serum. So something like a hyaluronic acid serum, which actually helps seal, and then putting a moisturizer over that to seal it in.
Let's talk about this, because there are so many beauty products that promise better skin, but we all have different skin types. So which ones actually work for all skin types?
I thought that we would start with the simplest one, which is probably the most intriguing looking. These are the cooling globes from Sundry. Yes!
Why did I get a cooling globe?
Because you're not cool.
Why do you need a cooling globe?
Because I want to be in the sorority too. I feel like I've been locked up.
You can have mine.
No.
Okay, go ahead, my love.
How many times have you woken up in the morning, your eyes feel dry, your head is sort of pounding, and you just feel like your skin needs a refresher? These globes are so nice. I keep this around my at my desk, and I just use it to go along like this. And it's amazing. It's amazing for depuffing. If you put a little bit of eye cream above as well, it's so nice. Put these in the fridge beforehand to help even accentuate the cooling. Wow. All right, so this final tool is probably my favorite because it's the most high tech, and it is probably the one that will scare whoever you are with if you are using it the most. This is the Current Body LED face mask. Yes, you got it, girl. And surprise, it turns red.
Whoa.
So why do you need this really scary Freddy Krueger looking mask at home? So I will tell you why. LED light has been studied for hundreds of years. There are clinical studies that prove that it helps with anti-aging. So when you wear this mask, you wear it 10 minutes a day, and it actually helps plump up the skin. Wow. So if anti-aging is really your goal, it helps with wrinkles, it helps with smoothing, it actually helps with, sometimes can help with acne as well. So it's actually clinically proven to reduce wrinkles by 35% in just 4 weeks.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
10 minutes a day.
I'm gonna do it.
You want to do it?
You really have to stick with it. For people, you know, you think it's a little bit pricier. I think it's around $300, but think about it this way. If you're getting Botox, if you're buying the pricey serums, this is something that you can have forever. Mm-hmm. So this is something really that you should see as an investment.
Mm-hmm. Faith, thank you so much for joining us on DBL today. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Following the passing of General Colin Powell, we've seen a lot of rumors spreading on social media, so we want to stick to the facts. His family wrote on Facebook that he died due to complications from COVID-19 and that he was fully vaccinated. For that reason, some online are using this as an opportunity to cast doubt on vaccine effectiveness. So let's verify by looking at the data. Our main source is the CDC, which has loads of data on hospitalizations and deaths. We also got some added context from Dr. William Schaffner from Vanderbilt University. According to the CDC, as of October 12th, more than 7,000 people died and just under 25,000 went to the hospital with COVID after being fully vaccinated. And obviously that sounds pretty scary, but we have to consider that this is a very small percentage of people that got the shot. The CDC says over 189 million people have been fully vaccinated nationwide, meaning that the chances of being hospitalized with COVID after getting the shot is 0.01%, and the chance of death is 0.004%. That's like 1 out of 10,000 vaccinated people going to the hospital and 4 out of 100,000 dying. Meaning it's not just rare, it's very rare. As for those who are unvaccinated, the rates of hospitalization and death are far greater.
Well over 90% of people who are hospitalized today with serious COVID are the unvaccinated among us. Over 90%.
Take this graph from the CDC showing a snapshot of COVID death rates from 16 jurisdictions over a 4-month period. In August alone, they estimate that an unvaccinated person was 11.3 times more likely to die from COVID. Simply put, some breakthrough cases are inevitable, but it's a far lower rate than if you aren't vaccinated. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. Is your online lover secretly scamming you? We have the tips to keep you safe. Number 1, it's time for a security alert sponsored by LifeLock. First up, if your online love is showering you with compliments and says, "I love you" way too soon, red flag. They're trying to gain your trust. If they live far away or travel frequently for work, don't be fooled. Scammers will find any excuse they can to not meet you in person. Their online profiles may look too good to be true. For example, the scammer may appear impossibly attractive. They will refuse to meet you for video calls, and they'll have a little too much in common with you. And finally, and most importantly, if they ever ask you for money, even small amounts or for tragic reasons, do not send it to them. LifeLock keeps you and your digital identity secure from cyber criminals. Call 1-800-419-0131 or visit lifelock.com to learn more. When they go after the heart, it bothers me the most. You're vulnerable. Be safe. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
That sound means it is time to verify another day, another scheme, and the bad guys are getting savvier with their tactics. They're already trying to steal your money, and now they're trying to intercept the money you're sending to friends and family. You've probably heard of Cash App. It's one of several money-sharing apps allowing you to bypass the bank and directly repay someone for a debt. So Joanne asked me to verify people on Facebook telling you to send money and receive more. She saw her friend sharing a post that reads in part, Cash App is presently giving out money to help people by this period of pandemic. To benefit, you have to trade with them using gift card or make Cash App transfer for trading and get your winnings immediately after verification, end quote. And then explains if you get $100 worth of gift cards, you'll get $1,500 in return and so forth. Okay, well, right away we noticed the missing words and the other grammatical errors, some of which I've circled here. This post immediately gives off red flags, which is why Joanne brought it to my attention. So let's verify. Our sources for this are Cash App, the Federal Trade Commission, and Lachelle Yates with the Better Business Bureau of Central and Northwest North Carolina. They affirm that so-called Cash App promotion is fake.
This social media post invokes two golden rules. First, if you are being asked to pay money up front for any reason in order to collect your money, the person asking is a crook. And second, gift cards are not currency. Gift cards are meant to be given as gifts, period.
Plus, why would Cash App want your gift cards? The Federal Trade Commission says very clearly no real business or government agency will ever insist you pay them with a gift card. And the real Cash App has a whole scam warning page on its website. It mentions cash flipping schemes when scammers promise to increase your money if you send them funds first. The scammers sometimes claim, as they did in this case, they need the payment up front for a verification or clearance fee. So bottom line, pausing to think and question can save you a huge headache.
First, realize that Cash App is not like a bank account. Your money is not federally insured. Second, use these apps like they were intended. Peer-to-peer, sending money to people that you know. And third, if you end up sending money to a scammer, you're not likely to get your money back. These money sending apps, they're not going to shoulder the cost of fraud like credit card companies do.
In conclusion, we verify no, the post claiming Cash App will pay you 10 times the money on a gift card is fake. Thanks, Joanne, for sending the post to us instead of resharing it online. And watch how much you send on payment apps, even to trusted sources. Starting January 2022, a new IRS rule will require you to report any Cash App business transactions of more than $600 to the federal government. With your Verify, I'm Megan Malaris.
Tomorrow on DBL, Curb Your Enthusiasm's Cheryl Hines is here.
It's kind of seedy, a little ratty. Like your towels.
What? You won't believe what she's saying about Larry David. And relationship coach Tracy McMillan answers your questions. Her advice for couples sorting out their relationship drama.
I'm very interested in win-win and negotiating.
That's tomorrow on DBL. Welcome back to DBL. We want to give a huge shout out to the newest member of the DBL family.
Me?
Al, stop. It's a moment. This is Cameron Joseph, our very own supervising producer. Jody recently gave birth to this beautiful bundle of joy. Congratulations to the new mom and dad, who we all know as well. Jody is an integral part of our show, so we are so thrilled and happy and can't wait to meet Cameron. Baby smell.
Cutie.
I love seeing those little blankets.
Yeah, and the hats you say.
It gives me, it just brings me.
You start to cry.
Yeah,
right?
look at his eyes. I was looking, when I saw that picture, I looked over, I was like,
Yeah, look at the eyes.
It brings me back.
What does it do to you that makes you so emotional?
It's such a great moment. Like, they're so happy right now. I know it's very traumatic and things like that. Usually difficult things are the most rewarding. This is a perfect example.
Couldn't happen to two better people either.
Mazel tov, Jody, and we're so happy for
Love
you.
you guys.
We will be DBL same time, same place.
We will?
Yeah, we will.
I want to wear that.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
I would wear that.